Hello and welcome to WNHS. We're coming to you from the warmth of our homes this winter. I'm Lexi Bingham.
And I'm Quincy Barber. On today's show, students will be talking about Black History Month, and WNHS kids will be sharing their first KISS stories. We also will be showing you guys the behind the scenes on how we run WNHS Online. And now on to reports.
Every February, many people across the globe celebrate Black History Month. During this time, we learn about many Black heroes in history who have fought for equality and celebrate the color of their skin. This is a time where Black voices can be heard and can tell their stories. To celebrate this month, Quincy Barber, TJ Lattimore, Jackson Blake, Lexi Bingham, and Tayshawn Jones reached out to students on how they view this special month in its history.
Black History Month is celebrated all throughout the month of February.
What Black History Month means to me is it's a chance to learn more in depth about Black history.
Black History Month highlights African American culture. This allows us to reflect and educate ourselves on Black history.
Simply, it is just important and meaningful to me because I feel like America would not be what it is now if it wasn't for Black America, Black history, Black culture. Some of the things we see, some of the things we eat would not be here in America if it was not for Black people.
It's important because it tells us and talks to us about the important events and important people from back then.
You don't just have to learn in the month, but you could learn outside the month, but you learn more in the month for some reason than outside the month.
I feel like Black History Month is a good time to appreciate all of the Black activists, leaders, and those events that we never really hear about.
It tells us what Black people went through and what Black people fought for.
Some leaders I'll look up to would be like Mike Tomlin, one of the only Black head coaches in the NFL.
If you really think about it, when you think about Black history, the people that come to mind are Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, but there are a lot of people that helped those people after and in those time periods that we never really hear about.
An example is Martin Luther King and how he fought for freedom and equality for Blacks.
Barack Obama, our first Black president. And there's more people I look up to that inspire me.
There have been a lot of Black history moments that have occurred now in today's society that will stick forever. Like Amanda Gorman and all of the Black Lives Matter movements, protesting, Kamala Harris, just to name a few. And I feel like we, as the upcoming, can make a huge difference in society.
It's Rosa Parks and how she didn't give up her seat to fight for freedom and equality for Blacks. Not only does it talk about our past, but it also lets us know about some of the achievements we've had. An example is President Barack Obama being the first Black president of the United States, and recently Vice President Kamala Harris being the first Black vice president.
It is a time to celebrate African American success and achievements because Black history is American history.
I feel like all of the young entrepreneurs, all of the young singers, actors, all of our dreams can come true if we really put our mind to it. And that is another reason why Black history means a lot to me. I hope you guys stay safe, have an amazing Black History Month. Yeah.
Most people think that your first kiss would be the most special, right? That's what movies and TV shows have taught us. However, they're not always as romantic and magical as you may think. To get to know the broadcasting kids better, Betsy Slayhooper, Angelina Sutton, Phoebe Hunt, R.G. McKenzie, and I collected the most embarrassing and interesting first kiss stories from WNHS students.
I was at this girl's house with a lot of my friends, 5 or 6 of us, and we were all just hanging out, chilling, My guy friend was there that me and him, we've always used to flirt with each other all the time and stuff, and I think we even liked each other at one point, but I didn't like him like that anymore. But yeah, we were flirting low-key. At the end of the night, I was standing near this window. All of our friends were in this room with us. It was a living room, but they were all looking at some bookshelf across the room. I really have no idea what was happening with them, but whatever, they were doing their thing. And he was standing in front of me, and he turns around and we kind of look at each other, and like, I don't know, it just happened. It was a little peck, you know. It wasn't like it was just a little.
My first kiss happened when I was in like 5th grade. My sister's 5 years older than me, so she was in high school. And oh, whoa, chill, not my sister, chill out, cut that out. My sister brought her friend over. They're in high school. I'm pretty sure my sister went off and started like taking a shower or something. So I was just downstairs with her friend. I don't know what happened, but the conversation, one thing led to another. She's like, "Have you had your first kiss yet?" And I remember I was perping. I was like, "Shorty, what? What you think I'm a little boy? Yeah, I had my first kiss." She was like, "You ain't a good kisser though." I was like, "Who ain't a good kisser? Not me." So I was like, "All right, kiss me then." And we just started making out, watching Cartoon Network.
My first kiss was it was at the playground in my neighborhood. The kid I was dating him at this point. He was sitting with me on the monkey bars, and this was 6th grade or 7th grade. And he like leaned in for a kiss and then jumped off the monkey bars and said psych. I was like, "Why'd you do that?" And then he actually kissed me. It was kind of awkward, but
Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about my first kiss with my current boyfriend I have now, and we've been dating for 5 months. Our first kiss was actually at his house, and it was the day he asked me out. We were standing on his back porch because we ate dinner like outside. After his parents went inside, he was like, "Stay out." He was like, "Stay out here." I was like, "Okay." So he told me to stay outside, and then I waited, and he came down with like, he got a pot of flowers. Like, it was in a blue pot with yellow flowers because yellow is my favorite color. And we stood there for like 30 minutes, and he was like, do you maybe, and he was trying to say it without actually saying it. So then he finally like got the guts to say it, and then was like, "Will you go out with me?" I said yes, and then we stood there for a second, like awkwardly, and it was kind of funny. But then he looked at me, and then we kissed on his back porch.
My first kiss story wasn't that interesting, and it wasn't too special, but it also wasn't too embarrassing. It happened a couple years ago. We were at the farmer's market, and he was really tall, and I am really short. So I was standing on those planks at the farmer's market, you know, the wooden, it's like this thick, and it surrounds the plants and the trees that are like in between the street and the boardwalk. And so I was standing in that, and he was just standing on the ground, and then we just looked at each other, and it was just a peck. Nothing too special or nothing too awkward.
My first kiss was in 2016. I was in the 7th grade, literally about to turn 13 like the week after, so I was 12. And it was with my boyfriend at the time. We actually like planned out the kiss. Like, we texted about it. We were like, "It's gonna be at this time. It's gonna be in this location." And we like made a plan, and it was like, okay. So we were both in chess club, basically. It was like an after school thing. When chess club ended, we had to go upstairs and take like all the chess equipment up to the janitor's closet, which is where they kept all the club stuff. Once we like put everything down, it was just the two of us in there. He goes, "Do you want to do it now?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I like turn around and we kiss. It was literally like that. It was like 3 seconds, peck, nothing major. Then he hugged me after and was like, "I love you." And I was shaking. My eyes were wide open during the kiss. But I was still over the moon.
My first kiss happened the summer after 8th grade when I was 14. I had met this guy in the Luigi's Mansion game at Dave & Buster's. He worked at Dave & Buster's. He was about 5 years older than me. But before we had kissed, I made him go buy me a mango smoothie because I had gotten insecure and I wanted to stall. And he had braces and really chapped lips. So, and he was ugly.
The
This school year was unlike any other school year. Many had to readjust and adapt to their new school environment. Broadcasting was no exception. Today we will be giving you a behind the scenes of WNHS but online. You will be hearing from Mackenzie Nicholas, Riley Clark, Alexia Rashudo, and I about the challenges we have faced and how we have been doing it in quarantine.
I'm Betsy, and I am one of the executive producers for WNHS. This year has been challenging because me and Angelina have been planning the way we were gonna set up this entire show since we joined, and it was gonna be extravagant, but then COVID said no, and now we're at home basically telling people what to do and hoping they actually do it. So we couldn't really do any major changes, unfortunately. I remember in the beginning of being an executive producer, I kept raving about how old I felt because I was a sophomore when I joined WNHS. And now I am a senior executive producer. Time just flew by so fast. And I would always just say, I feel so old, you guys. You have no idea. I think I said it a bit too much, but I think they got the memo. My main concern for the future of online WNHS is, will we get a senior intro? For the past 3 years, 2 years, I have been so excited to be a part of a senior intro. And pretending to be on a television show and doing the intro for it, it just sounds so fun. And I hope we get to do that this year.
Broadcasting online is definitely a struggle because one reason, a lot of upperclassmen like seniors and juniors, we don't know freshmen, so it's hard to have diversity in the interviews because we don't know who to contact online. We're not seeing people at school, so it's not like we can just go and ask around. It's just we have to directly contact people. And it's also hard because a lot of people aren't willing to do it, which is understandable because to them it's just another thing that they have to get done rather than when we were in the building, you'll get pulled out of class to do it. So it's it was more fun for students to do and interact with. And the people who do say that they're going to do the interviews for us, we get happy about it and we're okay, we have everything done for the show, we have everything we need, we just need when they send the videos in, then we're set. So we, when we're going to check up on them and be are you going to send your video in, can we have it by this date, they'll change their mind last minute and say we couldn't get it done, we didn't have time, or I've had a response I was it's dumb, I don't want to do that. So there was that. But then there's Riley usually, she gets it done. I don't know how she does it, but if we ever need an interview last minute, she's one of those assertive people that she just, whatever she says, people listen. So that's good. I'm not like that. I'm very understanding. So I'm okay, it's okay, and I'm trying to be nice, but it's definitely difficult to get people to cooperate, but we get it done either way. So I'm Riley. I'm part of WNHS Online. And it's definitely different from how it would be in the school. I was in news magazine at school, and so I would kind of get the background of WNHS without being in it. And it definitely seems, I wouldn't say easier, but it definitely was not as complicated as it is online, just because of the aspect of getting interviews. People are now having to do them on their own time, whereas before everybody wanted to give an interview because they would be pulled out of class to do it. Now they have to do it on their own time. So I feel that's a lot of the reason why people say no. But as Dana said, I do not take no as an answer. I kind of will just bother people till they do it, or they owe me one and I'm look, I did this for you. Can you do this for me? Stuff like that. And then there's just some people who are just okay, fine. And I don't know. I feel getting interviews is the most important part about it. And then, of course, Alexia with the editing and doing the stand-ups Mackenzie and stuff like that. It just all wraps it all together. but it's definitely harder online because everybody's editing their own story, and we don't see how the other people are doing their stories exactly because we won't see it until it's all put together, whereas in school I feel like we would see it all together every day. It kind of just breaks us apart communication-wise of the whole team, I feel like, but that's how I think it is.
Broadcasting online really isn't even that hard. You just got to get your interviews, you got to get a good angle on your story, you got to make sure that your questions will be informative for your story because you want people to understand what you're talking about. Also with interviews, like, you want to get diversity, you want to get male and female, you want to get different opinions on stuff. Like, you don't want the same opinion with the same type of people, you know what I mean? Like, you got to get some differences going in there. That's one thing you have to consider when getting interviews. But me personally, I have a very hard time getting interviews because I will send them the stuff for it and they'll be like, yeah, sure, I'm going to give you an interview. I'll do it later today or something. And they never send it. Or I'll explain it to them and they'll sound interested, but then they'll leave it unopen after I send them the questions and they just never acknowledge me after that. So that sucks. But I personally like doing the editing parts of it because I just think it's fun. It's relaxing. I just kind of lay it on my floor and go on iMovie and I just cut stuff up, take any like mistakes out, try to shorten some clips up a little bit. And I just think it's fun. But yeah, we usually leave the interview stuff to Riley because, you know, she's a real champ. She just goes in there and she's like, hey, you need to give me an interview. You owe me one. And they just give it to her. So Riley is like our fountain of interviews, you know. If we need to cram and get more interviews, we know who to go to. We go to Riley because she got the connections. So yeah, but I personally do not. But one thing with editing is apparently I'm not good at spelling. So we have a lot of spelling errors, but I'm trying to get better at that, trying to catch my mistakes before, you know, we send the clips out into the world for everybody to see my spelling errors. But I'm getting better. I mean, it's fun, you know, it's not hard. It's a blast.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie, and I would definitely say that broadcasting online is much harder than would be in person because you don't have any in-person contact with anyone else, like people to interview or your other cast members. Like, for example, when doing a stand-up, you don't have any tips people could give you. You have to remember the script on your own, and sometimes you forget to do the stand-up the day the show is due, so you're like scrambling to get it done, and you have to look presentable, and it's like harder to do when you have a class period to do everything in and you know what to do. So yeah, broadcasting online is much harder than it would be in person.
Something I really appreciate about the people in WNHS is that they'll listen to me talk about random crap. Like, I could literally be in the middle of telling them what to do, and then I'll be like, oh, my cat's so annoying. Or, oh my god, I am so tired. Or, guys, I love you. Even though I've never said that. I could, but that's what I think.
Isn't that Jamie?
I'm sorry.
Do it.
Elena is like responsible for my baby right now.
All right, I'm ready. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Hannah, stop. Hannah, stop. I literally have 2 sentences to read. All right, just like.
Think of something sad.
Or Michael. Okay, sorry. All right. Hello, and welcome to another edition of WNHS TV.
And that's all for this week's show. We hope you had a fun and safe Valentine's Day, whether you ate chocolate by yourself or with someone you love. I'm Quincy Barber.
And I'm Lexi Bingham. Don't forget to follow Northern Journalism on Twitter at NHS Patriot Press to stay updated on all things NHS. That's it for us. Tune in soon for a brand new edition of WNHS Online. We'll see you then.